Super Mario Odyssey, video 3. This will be for the Sand Kingdom, and the Sand Kingdom is going to be split up into multiple videos. I'm not too sure how many because I haven't edited them all, but at least 3 or 4. So I may come back to these later. I don't know. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to just play the game and upload it until I beat it, or if I'll beat it and then record all my stuff, collecting all the collectibles and stuff after that. That might be a little bit more boring though, so I may just do like really long marathon. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out when I get to it. So as we noticed at the previous video, or at the end of the previous video, we got to the required power moons to power up our Odyssey ship, and now we have a captain hat. And this is a hat that you're going to be stuck with for a while, and you can switch it inside of shops and other places later, but for now I don't think there's a way to do that from the ship. Maybe there is in the overworld, I haven't really looked very much. But anyway, so we're going to be setting off for the Sand Kingdom. I think we had a cutscene or two at the end of the last video, and the Sand Kingdom is going to be pretty much the first real world. So we had the Cascade Kingdom, which was kind of another tutorial place, I guess, and then of course the very first world, which was the literal tutorial, and in between worlds, which I'm guessing this is either a load screen or, I don't know, it does this because it thinks it's necessary, but not too sure. Anyway, it's just kind of a little intermediate where this guy talks to you about what's going on in the story, and then of course he tells you, hey, have a tip. Ground pound. You can jump and then push ZL or ZR and ground pound and destroy stuff for you. He also mentions that you can flatten stuff. If you see bumps in the ground, you can flatten some of them down if you ground pound on them, which I don't actually figure out until I read it on a sign later, so that's just great. Of course, the action guide, which for some reason this game opens up way too often for you, will be readily available, so you can review all of that information if you want to. I guess they kind of have to do that because in the old days, back when I was young, they used to give you like these really thick, multi-language, color glossy instruction manuals with games. And the instruction manual, you'd feel its very hefty weight. It would weigh more than the whole game case. And I miss those days, but I know why they do it. Ugh. Okay, so it looks like I need to get a new microphone because my microphone decided to mess up there again. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll fix it in the later videos, I promise. As I was saying with the instruction manuals, alright, I know why that they're not including giant thick ones anymore. It's because we have to save the environment. Really, they just want to save shipping costs because it weighs less, and they're saving money costs because they don't have to pay to give you a manual, which is strange to me because they still include sometimes a stupid little like flimsy toilet paper manual that says seizure warnings, don't play this game if you have seizures, or see your doctor if you have any of the, stuff like that. But anyway, here we are in Sand World, Sand Kingdom, and it's a very cold kingdom with some mariachi skeletons, Day of the Dead going on here, I guess. And then we can get the checkpoint for Tustarena Town, if I said that right. The word went away before I could totally figure out how to pronounce it. But anyway, you may be wondering, what are the checkpoints for? Now, of course, they're for if you die. So if you die, you go back to the checkpoints. But as we will learn later, once we actually unlock a couple of checkpoints, they also act as quick travel. So once you explore these worlds a little bit and you want to come back later, maybe get some moons where you remember seeing them but didn't quite get them before, then you don't have to walk the whole way there, even though getting around to these worlds doesn't really take too long, but it is kind of nice being able to warp there right away. I do have some complaints that require its whole own video explanation, but I don't know, I have some complaints about quick travel and even maps in games. I don't know, I feel like in some cases no quick travel is a good thing because then it forces you to remember where stuff is and it forces you to remember how to get there, and that means you have to explore the world a little bit more. And I think if you play games that have quick travel, if you play them without quick travel, then you'll find sometimes at the beginning they're more fun. Later on it does get a little bit old having to walk the same path 20 times, but I'm just saying, if you play, Skyrim and try it sometime without quick travel, I think you'll be surprised just how fun it is, just not being able to instantly go where you need to. But anyways, you saw me put that plant and that seed down there. do that because if you come back later, then you'll get a moon out of it, and I'll be doing that in a video too. Or now it has to grow, and it won't grow until we solve a couple of things in this world. But anyway, if you go down that pipe, there's a challenge thing in there, and you're supposed to follow the vibration of your controller to find the challenge spot. And I couldn't find it, so I spent like 4 minutes in there, jumped everywhere. I had no idea what I was supposed to do, so I'll come back later. I don't know if it's a moon or what, but anyway, I'll come back to that later. It was just 4 minutes of me doing nothing, so I cut it out. You can also get onto this power line if you remember this, and don't forget that this is a pretty good way to travel in some levels, because they'll have power lines between useful locations. And it's kind of funny to me because there's this game a while ago that I uploaded. It was this like indie game that sadly nobody bought. I can't remember what it was called, but you played a piece of electricity, like a zap of electricity on a power line, and you just kind of went through worlds turning the power back on, and it was entertaining enough. It was like really easy. I think it was like a $10 game, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't really much of a game, but it was just really hilarious to me that pretty much that exact same thing happens here in this AAA Nintendo game, where you play Mario on a power line going around warping, basically. Now, I mean, you don't actually do anything in that indie game. You don't do anything in the Mario game that you did in that indie game, but it just kind of gave me that kind of memory of that, because I played that game, I don't even know how long ago, but it was a surprisingly okay indie game. I can't even remember what the name of it was, but I don't know, maybe by some sheer miracle some other person watching this has played it too and they know what I'm talking about. But oh well, let's just continue on and get into this giant castle place. I can hear a moon above me. There is a moon on top of those pillars that I was just walking under, and we'll be able to get that later, but not right now, so we're not going to worry about it too much. If you notice in the top left, we need quite a few more moons than we did in the previous level. And we're gonna need, how many are even in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10, I guess that's like Zelda heart pieces. Anyway, so we're gonna need, what is that, 16 moons before we can continue on into the next kingdom. And that might seem like a lot, but as I said in the previous video, the game is really good at making sure that you have a ton of moons to collect. Now, of course, you'll be able to collect a bunch of moons on your way to the so-called goal, and if you look at these binoculars that let you see the area around you, you'll see a giant pointing finger telling you, come here, stupid, come here. See, there's the moon I was talking about. Anyway, your goal is to get to that moon so you can continue on with the story, but you are going to want to explore a little bit and get some side moons, so that way you can obviously leave to the next world in your Odyssey ship. So don't rush, I guess, because you can't really. You're gonna have to come back to these places later anyway. You may as well just do it now. So spend some time, look around, have fun in this game. I mean, there's really no reason to speed things up if you don't have to. Now, something that kind of surprised me, because I'm still getting really used to the fact that you can take over enemies. So I saw that bullet bill and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna kill him by throwing my hat at him. And that didn't happen. I took him over, and then you get to control the bullet bill. So you can do that here, or you can just lead the bullet bill to these different these different blocks if you want to. This one has a moon inside of it, so you can lead the bullet bill that way if you're a little bit better about leading it than I was, or you can just kind of step over here, and this should get him on going in your direction like this. Of course, since this world is cool, if you stand still for too long, Mario sits there and starts shivering, and nothing happens if you shiver. I mean, there's no, like, oh, it's too hot or it's too cold like there was in Zelda, but I think that is kind of cool how he, I don't know, just the little details like that add up. And when it gets really hot, Mario, like when you, spoiler alert, when you clear out this world, the desert world, it gets hot, okay? I mean, hopefully it's not a spoiler, that should be referenced at this point, but anyway. Once it gets really hot in this world, Mario sits there and starts panting, because I guess it's really, really hot. I mean, it's a desert. So anyway, here is where I didn't realize, oh, I can actually ground pound those bumps in the ground and flatten them out. Notice that some of the places, not this one, but I mean some of the later spots that I can ground pound, they'll be glowing, and that means they may have a moon in them. Some of them may just have coins, though. They like to troll you a little bit. Now, that sand down there, you can actually jump in, and you can continuously jump out of it. So if you've played other Mario games, you may know that if you jump in quicksand like that, you can usually jump out the first few times, but the sand just keeps dragging you down and down. Not so with that sand. You can just keep jumping out and out and out and out and out. You don't really have to worry about getting sucked in forever. So that's pretty cool. It's also good to know because there are a couple of moons that are going to be down there in the sand area for you to collect later if you want to. Again, as I said before, this isn't really a walkthrough series. This is kind of like a playthrough-ish type of series, so I'm not going to be doing everything the most efficient way, but I'm going to be doing it the way that I did it the first time. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, there is a moon that will get sent over there, and you can collect it if you take control of a bullet bill and fly over there. In all of my genius, I didn't realize that until I came back later, so I do eventually go and get that moon, but I don't get it now. But if you want to get it now, that's how you get it. You throw your hat on the bullet bill, head on over that way, and there you go. There's also a couple of places you can wall jump up here, and you're not really stuck. You have to remember, you're not really stuck to this pyramid thing that we're on. You can jump off, and if you do jump off, you'll end up in the sand there, and you'll have to go all the way back around or find some other way to climb back up here. So try to stay on it, but remember that if you fall off, you're not going to die. You're just going to end up being in another part of this world. Of course, you might die if you fall down a bottomless pit, but there's not many of those around here, so you don't really have to worry about that, but just keep an eye out for stuff like that, and just remember you kind of got to try to stay up here, because if I were to fall off right now, I haven't really unlocked many checkpoint flags, so I wouldn't really be able to quick travel back up here. I'd have to do it all over again. So just keep that in mind when you're exploring. Make sure that you don't accidentally mess up and fall off and waste 5 minutes. So anyway, here is going to be kind of a more complicated 2D scrolling section for Super Mario, and something that was a little bit annoying to me is that Mario doesn't have the same or he doesn't have different jumping and falling speeds in this form. So if you played the other Mario games, you'll know that if you tap the B or the jump button, he jumps a little bit, and if you hold it, he jumps higher, but on that form, he jumps the same. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.